name is Christiane Büttner. I have a master's degree in social psychology, and I will finish my PhD in social psychology at the University of Basel next year on the topic of everyday experiences of ostracism, that is, when people feel excluded or ignored by others. Publication for which I received the Steven Karger Prize concerns novel forms of digital ostracism experiences, that is, ostracism experiences in social media contexts. And recent debate, but also previous research, has concerned a lot these big topics in social media, such as cyberbullying, but also hate speech. But research has less examined the little negative experiences that can make social media a dangerous place for some people. And in our publication, we looked at novel forms of digital ostracism that would not exist without social media, and that is when people are not being tagged in photos or are being cut off from photos, and how that makes them feel. And we found that these are very frequent experiences, and that indeed people feel excluded by that, and it hurts their well-being. And this is alarming because even those small experiences of social media can accumulate over time and have very serious consequences, such as fostering depression and suicidality, but also violence, such as in school shootings, for instance. So ostracism is only one of many forms of how people maltreat each other, but ostracism is often missed for more serious forms of interpersonal aggression, such as discrimination or also violence. However, ostracism can be just as hurtful or even more hurtful than discrimination and aggression. And social media is all around us. Almost every human being on this planet uses social media on a daily basis. Some people use social media for hours at end. And still, we don't know a lot about social media as a context, and often it's assumed that things that happen in the real world will just be the same on social media. But in our publication, we could show that these experiences of not being tagged or being cut off from a photo, this did not exist before social media and still is very hurtful to people, even though the experience itself seems so small. And that is something that I find fascinating about this topic. Studying ostracism in general is very interesting to me because people intuitively associate something with it. It is very rare that I tell people about my research and they say, I've never felt like that. And that is intriguing to me. And also most people intuitively understand why it is important to study these processes, and that is very motivating to me. I believe that this research has many important future avenues that are still left to explore. One of them is that social media, of course, also offers the possibility to individuals affected by exclusion to react and to cope with exclusion in maybe negative ways, such as engaging in hate speech, but also positive ways, such as reaching out to friends. So this is an important avenue for future research. At the same time, I'm interested in what risk factors contribute to some people being excluded more frequently than others, and also what are the functions of exclusion for groups. Because not every instance of exclusion is necessarily bad. It may certainly be for the individual, but exclusion is also important to keep our groups a certain size and to make sure that group members follow specific rules. Lastly, I also think it's very important to find adequate interventions for those people who are affected negatively by social exclusion. Because, for instance, for loneliness, there's a lot of interventions, but for ostracism, not so much. So future research should really aim to construct and also test the validity of these interventions. Receiving the Steven Karger Prize for this publication truly is the greatest honor in my PhD journey. And especially receiving it after so many brilliant researchers means a lot to me. Among these is actually my co-author on the publication, Receiving this prize also motivates me to pursue this research further, but also to talk about research, because oftentimes research happens behind academia's closed doors, and I'm very much advocating for opening these doors, and this prize gives me that opportunity.